see him. I saw him yesterday at the end of the day. I hope he didn't have it then.
Bob wants you to come and give him a big hug, Brett.
We are live, by the way.
Well, I'm showing 25 seconds.
My cord is at home.
Hey, good evening and welcome to the Fort Scott City Commission work session on container homes for October 21st, 2025. Commissioner Salisbury, I know you've done an extraordinary amount of work on this, and the city manager unfortunately is not feeling well. He's on the intercom box here, but we'll kind of let you lead us through this.
Okay, great. Well, thank you all for coming tonight. I had passed out some draft ordinances for everyone to consider in kind of an executive summary last meeting. And in the interim, I think we've learned that because the current regulations are in zoning, there's a process that'll have to happen there first before we could move forward with an ordinance. Am I getting that right, Lisa? I'm sorry. Sorry, you're not paying attention to the class. No. So you had sent out an email, if I understand, that because the current shipping containers are under the zoning regulations, we would need to do something there first, like okay. And then if that goes through and have a public hearing and everything, then we can consider the ordinances. So, okay. All right. And because life was happening, I didn't get things addressed towards that email that came out earlier in the week until today. I finished drafting up, basically, if we decide to go forward, an application to do a text amendment on the zoning regulations, that to just start that process. Again, this is just me trying to jumpstart us if we go that direction. And then, as I knew we were going to have this discussion, and I was a little confused on, well, I shouldn't say confused. I've never dealt with having to change a zoning regulation, so I kind of did a draft up of what I think it is, the process, and if this isn't it, people that know better, please let me get through, let me know so we can go forward. So with that complication, for lack of a better word, on the zoning issue, I'm wondering what the best path forward is now. I mean, I know we're here to talk about the ordinance, so should we do that under the presumption that we would get to that point? I'm guessing, since we're all here. I don't know. What do we think?
And I'm assuming what we had on the table here was kind of your application and process and all.
Yeah, the thing I just did, yeah, based on that.
The only thing I didn't see on there, like I said, I know we've got an existing one right now. Single neutral color, I just wanted to make sure where in here it talks about, before someone would come in and submit an application to do this. That the engineering side of it and the
Okay.
requirements were met
Right.
and passed
Okay.
by codes.
Well, the thing you have in your hand is just the application to change the zoning regulation, which my understanding is we have to do first.
Yeah.
But as far as the ordinance itself, that I drafted up, if we're going to discuss that, yeah, we can look and see the process there that's in there, and we can change it to whatever, obviously.
Yeah, because I know that, I know it's something that, in my opinion, has a place in Fort Scott, but you will also probably run into several people that say, not in my neighborhood, or not next door to me.
Well, right,
or
yeah.
what, and I like the fact that I saw something in there in the public hearing where the neighbors could come in and express
Right.
their interest.
Yeah, and just to be clear, this this isn't only about container homes. I was really trying to be forward thinking in case those came along, because that's a trending topic in a lot of areas, including some smaller towns in Kansas like DeKalb. But because we were revisiting containers as storage or being modified into businesses or something, like there's a coffee place in Nevada made out of one. I just put the option to have the primary residence too. That's why it's a separate ordinance if we went that direction.
Yeah, because in the packet that the clerk sent to us from 2024, one of the pages she sent, it stated August 2nd, 2024, stated that, as a comparison, Chanute, home use must have engineer plans and must be approved by codes, then approved by commission. To me, that sounds like the most logical
Yeah.
step. Now, the planning commission, in our case, may have to get involved with it too, especially if somebody's going to do, like, let's say they buy 2 or 3 pieces of property in a row and they want to put one of those on all of them and use them as rentals or whatever. So I do like, from the Chanute standpoint and Parsons, that home use must have engineered plans and meet all code standards as any other home.
Right, yeah, and I think that's something that Officer Krueger mentioned at the last meeting too.
We will have an issue with that because none of those shipping containers are built to housing specs.
Right.
They are all built for Department of Transportation specs. They're made for hauling down the road. They're not made to live in.
Right.
So they are not made for any living conditions.
They're generally made to be livable, though. I mean, all the container itself is a shell that's your siding, and internally you build the walls, the electrical, the plumbing, the flooring.
But the
It's-
structure is not made to any standards to do with housing.
I agree with that, but it's just like anything. A shed you can convert to a house if you want to.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so that's a big hurdle to jump into when you start talking, are we gonna allow these for homes? Because a manufactured home or a mobile home has to be built to government specs to allow them in our city of Fort Valley.
right.
You would never be able to, unless they change these, you would never be able to allow one of them to be a livable space.
Yeah.
Because they're not built to any government spec.
What if in your ordinance,
It
you
says that.
adopted, Norm, and said that they must be to inhabit as a dwelling? They've got to be compatible with we've got the building code with that. So that includes the 2x4s, the 2x6s, whatever, the walls, the wiring, the plumbing.
Well, like a trailer home needs to be on a foundation.
Correct.
We already have all that standard in place right now.
Yeah.
And also, if you read about them anywhere, the engineered plans is a must. Because you gotta show the engineered plans on how you're going to anchor them.
Oh, I'm not arguing anything with that, that's what they talked about. Norm just said we can't have it, and you're saying we've already got that, so I don't
Yeah,
understand.
I'm confused.
So,
Yes.
the only thing is, so like right now, our codes right now is at 2012. And so they don't breach the Connex boxes or tiny homes until the codes are brought up into.
Later.
I think what
Yeah.
Norm is trying to say, correct me if I'm wrong, they alone cannot be a stand.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Standalone structure.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to be modified
Yeah.
to meet code. They can't just come in and live in a box.
Yeah.
Correct, which is, I don't envision who would want to do it, because to me it's just as effective to put walls and siding up, but
We get called all the time, do you guys allow container box homes? We're telling them no.
it's doable, but
They don't meet any deal. And we had a
I mean,
gentleman that wanted to bring
we don't
lunch in,
currently
we
have
lined them up.
Don't have
against
any.
it.
Yeah. No, they would just have to meet the same.
Told him our codes don't allow any living conditions in these things because they're not built to any specifications for housing.
They can be modified as long as they meet all of the engineering standards. I think that's in the draft that I have in there, that they would have to.
Yeah, but I mean, the response is, I mean, that we currently don't have a restriction.
Well, it's similar to,
No more than we have a restriction against living in a tent.
I believe there are some on that.
I think there was actually in the codes, there's a statement that it must have a full functioning kitchen. It must have
Yeah.
running water, toilet, bathroom, the whole 9 yards. So
Same
those-
as if you were to have a,
That's for
Yeah.
any structure.
Yeah.
That's for a stick-built structure. You got
Yep.
those stuff. And that
Understood.
code that we have in Fort Scott doesn't mention a thing about container homes. Must have this, must have that, has to
And
have
it-
that. They first have to get approved by the government for living standards. Anybody that approves these, that has a newer updated code, I don't know that they're building containers for living. People turn them into living
And-
sources.
And that's,
But are they approved?
well, I mean,
Does the government approve it?
who are you saying, the federal
What
government?
government?
Yeah, the federal government. When you go buy a mobile home, it's built by HUD specifications. These are not.
Yeah, but there's-
These are built by Department of Transportation.
Yeah, but there's no requirement from them to be approved by the federal.
The federal government, I mean, if we wanted to set our own standards,
So there's no legal ability that you can live in one, period.
well, I mean, there is.
I
'cause
disagree
people-
with that.
No, that,
Because we could say you could have a house with no toilet if we wanted to. It's just a matter of what the commission puts together.
So you're saying that anybody could get a Connex box, bill it to a home and get insurance on it?
That would be between them and private
Whole
insurance.
separate issue.
No, that's a-
We
that's-
don't have any control over them having insurance.
So,
I'm just saying if the commission wanted to allow it and regulate it, to me, it's within this commission's purview.
Leroy,
Yeah.
in the document here, it says Chanute, Kansas, home use must have engineered plans, must be approved by codes and approved by commission. Do you know if they, in fact, have any container homes in Chanute?
That's been a year ago since I had that conversation with them, so I don't know.
And
I
according,
assume that they have some,
yeah,
well, at that particular conversation, we weren't talking about homes, we were talking about, garage use, storage, on-property storage.
okay, but under that, it did say home use dash must have engineered plans and be approved by codes and commission.
Right.
And it looks like Pittsburgh, I don't know if that's changed since then, but in the same process as Fort Scott and trying to come up with codes to cover this issue.
Yeah, I know for Pittsburgh, of a developer who was trying to be able to put in some Connex homes, and he had made changes to the inside so that they could be livable. And Pittsburgh was still having an issue with being able to have them put into place because he has not been able to place those there, and he wanted to come here and put them.
Yeah, I've actually been there and viewed what he has. But, okay. Like I said, my biggest concern on this is I think Norm has some very valid points, absolutely. I couldn't see how you could get away with doing it without all the functions that we have of requirements, such as it's got to be on some type of foundation. Because even, well, heck, I own a trailer home next door to my main property. And even if I wanted to replace that with a brand-new one, it would have to be on a permanent foundation and all these other things. The other primary concerns for me personally is, number one, is acceptance within the neighborhood where you're wanting to put it at. What would it do to the property values of the homes next door to it? The engineering piece of it, that it meets to where it's not going to endanger either the inhabitants or first responders if something happens there that they need to respond to. Those are my biggest concerns, and I do think that anything that we might do going forward, if we develop something for this, that this body here, as well as codes and the planning commission, would need to have oversight, and each one individually would need to be brought in here for approval.
Yeah.
There is already verbiage for that in our current codes.
Yeah.
because, with any home, it's gotta meet, it's gotta resemble the surrounding units.
Yeah,
So you can't just put a rocket ship home, you know.
That would be
next
cool.
to a bunch of
yeah,
colonial style homes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Before, for the, if we were to go with the ordinance that I drafted up to all of this kind of discussion, it's provided in there that a licensed engineer must certify the structure is safe. It must sit on a permanent foundation, be it slab, crawl space, or basement. And egress and fire safety, it has to meet all building code requirements for windows, doors, and fire separation. Containers must be insulated on all sides to prevent condensation and mold. So in plain language, that means steel walls conduct heat and cold, and without that proper insulation, they would sweat, so you have to have a specific kind of insulation. And then the utilities and plumbing and everything have to be installed by licensed contractors. So it's basically the same things. It's as if someone was building a stick home, but instead they're starting out with this metal. Yeah, so that was kind of,
But according to, and I remember when we drafted that, being compatible with the neighborhood, no Connex home without exterior complete modification would ever qualify.
right, I
Yeah, I'm just-
think it all is cladding too.
Are we trying to make it difficult for people to do it, or just painful?
To me, that's what this whole thing seems like, to
Yeah,
me
it just-
personally,
it just
because
seems like we're-
what I'm reading here on the text changes to the planning regulations is, it's pretty much, we don't want containers.
Well,
That's my summary of it.
my original, when I came to the commission, my original focus was to get a yes or a no answer, you know. I wrote verbiage for and against, so we could adopt one or the other. So if you want it to be enforceable in any way, you have to adopt either the no version or the yes version. And I think that is the first hurdle that you guys
Right.
need to jump over. Do we want it as a no, or do we want it as a yes? And then we move on from that.
Right,
Well, I guess to me, as you come in town from the east, you clearly have a person with several containers stacked upon each other. How does this affect them?
Where are they stacked on each other?
On the north side of Wall Street, as you come in from the east side.
Well,
They're actually stacked one on top of the other.
I
or like
believe
right in a
so.
row.
I've not seen any that are stacked on.
I'm just.
There's a
I'm-
whole parking lot full of them stacked on top
Yeah,
of
they're
each
side
other.
by side, I'm at, yeah.
Because under this, it says
Like one on top
permit
of the other?
required and a
It's not
setback.
homes, but they are shipping.
oh, right, right.
That's not.
Well, I mean,
that's
that's-
not a residential district.
Yeah, that's actually.
That's mixed use district.
Mixed use, okay.
Set in a mixed use district.
Yeah, he couldn't do that if it wasn't.
Okay.
that.
Well, I
Well,
wanna-
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
So that's one of the things I want to make sure we're not arbitrarily saying, oh, your parking lot's empty now. Again, I personally would like to see the examples where this is a problem in the city and who has the problem.
Well, I
Because
think in some cases, you're not gonna know until you
Yeah, I
try
think we're-
and put one next door to somebody's
I
house.
have one next door to my house.
It's a
It's
home?
not a home, but it's a storage container.
And does it meet the easement requirements that are in the current codes? Is it far enough back off the road?
I'm
Is
not a
it-
codes official, I couldn't tell you that, but.
Well, maybe before we get too far down the road with houses, because that was really a secondary thing, let's see if we can get the shipping container, as far as storage, that's laying around, maybe we could track.
Yeah.
That was the first part of this that we needed to tackle, because my understanding is there's quite a few issues of that around town, so. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was, I mean, that was always my understanding about that. And then once we had an answer to that, the next logical answer, next logical question to ponder is whether or not we're going to allow, shipping container homes or tiny homes or or tiny homes made of shipping containers.
I would definitely say there's a place for them in our city. That place is not everywhere,
Yeah.
unfortunately, but
Yeah, I'm not sure what the, how to draw those lines and say, yeah, you can put them there, but not over there.
exactly. And
I thought that's kind of what we're going to be hashing out.
but as the mayor had pointed out, that route could be best left to the planning commission and the city commission for final approval with whatever did come up from that.
We do
I
have.
believe it was mentioned that there was interest by someone to put several of these.
Yeah,
That is housing.
and we do need housing.
The, I'm scrolling through all this stuff, but do you remember what I believe some of the requirements for the shipping containers for storage were, it had to kind of match in color.
It's
Pro-
gotta,
the-
it's gotta set,
Primary structures has to sit back.
it's gotta meet the setbacks that are already in place, and then basically, other than that, it's gotta.
Well, there were some cases where
Match the primary structure.
it actually talked about like a fence being for
I
visibility.
said screening,
where
like
the
of
screen
some
can't be
sort, so,
closer to the road than the main structure.
That's the,
Is that it?
that's a current thing, but it says enclosed, it doesn't say screened.
yeah. I just to be clear, that was in my proposal, that it be screened if it's adjacent to, homes. And it could be like fencing or shrubbery or whatever, but yeah.
The way it currently sets, it doesn't mention Connex at all, but it mentions like the tractor trailers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it talks about them being in an enclosure, so inside of the structure.
So, Leroy, what would you, as things are now, what would you need to do to be able to have someone remove a shipping container that was absolutely out of compliance, like really next to the road, or covered in rust, or had been there for 9 years in a residential area, it's that kind of thing?
Two things, one, adopt the yes or no in residential. And, two, just putting the word Connex into the existing, list of that type of, a box or, and once it's in there, then we can reference that ordinance, then we can officially write tickets or send letters and or legal if we do go to court on the issue.
Okay.
Well, I mean, now if, I don't know the examples where it's a problem. I have not had them brought to me, but let's say now if it's on private property and the setbacks met, you're saying you can't do anything, right?
It's not spelled out, and I mean, if I was to take it, write a ticket for it and take it to court, there's no way I could.
Now, if it's on private property, but it's creating a public safety hazard or a hindrance to the public, what can you do?
I would have to explain and prove that theory, because there's not an ordinance or law.
Well, I
So
mean,
you need to-
there's no connexes sitting on city property or alleyways or in the road or something
Yeah,
that would
so
otherwise hinder normal.
You need
daily-
it to say shipping container or ISO container?
Well, in Regulation 20-8, accessory used, 20-802 shall read 20-802, no single accessory building or storage unit in residence district R1, R2, R3, MHP, MHS, MUSC shall occupy more than 30%, nor shall all such buildings collectively occupy more than 40% of the required yard space in the rear half of the lot. No accessory building shall be located closer than 5 feet to any lot line. In the case of the corner lot, no accessory building shall project closer to the street side of the yard than the front yard abutting. And then it says, any storage unit referred to as a shipping container, parentheses, Connex box, that is typically transported by tractor trailer rig used in as accessory structure must be painted to match the primary structure on the lot to which it's located.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
That
what,
is-
that's what
that
I,
is what-
what Noel and I wrote.
Yeah,
That's what we're wanting you to adopt, if you're wanting to go with it. If you don't wanna go with it, you just need to add the word Connex box to your existing.
To the existing ordinance?
Yeah.
Disallow. But yeah, this is the one that Norm and I
Yep.
rewrote the verbiage for you in case you decided to adopt it.
yep. Well, I thought it was important just to mention what the recommendations were of the codes team regarding the Connex, whether it's, and it doesn't state home, but I mean, just as a storage item.
And then we can delve a little deeper if, people want to use them for dwellings.
Should it
Yeah.
not go to the planning commission for them to evaluate and to come and make a recommendation to you guys?
Seems reasonable.
No,
to
it'll
me.
have to.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
that way,
Yeah.
and then you can vote and then in order to make a move forward.
yep,
Because
Yeah.
you have to adjust the zoning as well as,
Yeah, because they might
Mhm.
recommend that they not be allowed for residential, period.
Yeah, they might.
And it opens up the public hearing.
Yeah.
I see no issues with what codes has drawn up. I personally don't like all of this. To me, it's targeted at,
The request to change the zoning, that's what you don't like?
well, that's what this is here.
Yeah.
Temporary placement, 90 days. I mean, it's okay in some situations, but for long-term placement, they now need a permit and codes approval. She'll seek a permit from codes official, except M1 and M2. Include property details, container dimensions, site plan, setbacks and screening methods, and where applicable, the Historic Preservation Board, which is, I don't imagine why there should be one downtown. I believe there is one, but, all long-term containers shall be placed on a permanent foundation or gravel pad with approved anchoring. Again, I don't see nothing wrong with that. That's a requirement for most sheds in the event of a tornado, but I just don't want us as a commission or a city to target citizens who have done nothing wrong.
no, I don't either, but I think it's important that we establish a set of guidelines then that applies to everybody. And I think with the planning commission and the opportunity for them to come into a public hearing, absolutely, because not until that public hearing is done and we've heard everything that we needed to hear from city staff, from the planning commission, and from the individual
Citizens, yeah.
citizens, we're not even anywhere near a vote on it yet or not.
Correct, but
Yeah.
I think with what Norm and I drew up here, that is, basically just nailing down the verbiage for the accessory structure. I think with hers, she's trying to put verbiage in for everything that can come about with the storage unit.
Yeah, I was just trying to be more comprehensive, so we did, we'd have something
She's
else,
addressing the home issues
Oh, yeah.
and everything.
businesses and
Yeah,
stuff.
Same things Norms was talking about. and- Yeah.
But I mean, I know what you're saying. I'm not trying, the way that I have it drafted, if we went that way, it should not be, except with a few exceptions, it shouldn't be going back to anybody who has stuff there already. I mean, like if it's rusted out, they'd probably have to pay it, but they wouldn't have to relocate it or be fined or something. There's a few exceptions, like I believe detached trailers, they shouldn't be pretty much anywhere. I can't remember exactly, but I mean, just so you know, I'm trying to grandfather in most people, and this would be like a going forward kind of thing, so.
Yeah, and on the home side, it can be an issue, and it breaks my heart that this happens, but Codes team will probably remember, we had someone that had purchased a large shed, and the thing was like 4 feet from the street. And you know, they kept saying no one's living in that, no one's living in that, and then found out from the people that had financed that very large shed that first we tried to get them to come and move it back within what the easement is from the road. But then they came back and repossessed it anyway, and they kept saying no one was living in it, but the day that was going on, they were pulling mattresses and all kinds of stuff out of there. And that's heartbreaking, it really is, that happens. But again, it was extremely noticeable if you drove down this main thoroughfare, this
Margrave?
large, yeah, it was right up on the street.
Yeah, I know what you're referring to.
Yeah, and you know it took forever. Codes was told they'll be here in 2 weeks to move it back behind the line for us, and so I mean, with what they've got to do, and like I said, it's not always the most enjoyable thing. I kind of pride on this commission that we try and support the codes team as much as we can.
I think, and Bob, tell me if I'm wrong, the stuff can be grandfathered in, but we can still make them adhere to our codes and setbacks and paint
You know,
and all that
you've got your property.
for things that are already there.
Right.
Your property maintenance issues. For example, Catherine talks about somebody's that's rusted completely. Under our property maintenance code, you've got to keep your house painted. Right. You've got to keep it sealed up and whatever, and I think the same thing would apply to these things. Even if it's a garage or whatever, you can't just let it rust to the ground.
So I think we can get everything into uniform, is what I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Even with the stuff that's grandfathered in, if we go that route.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look here. The way that I had this is section 8 non-conforming uses. Basically, the way I have it is section 8A states that if any existing container or trailer that doesn't meet the new rules is considered legal non-conforming use on the day of the ordinance passes. And it does set a deadline for some things such as screening, painting, permitting, but those are, you know, they have a while. Like, so the deadlines you have to, for some are 12 months for non-conforming containers for most of the city, 6 months for containers in historic districts to get into compliance, like paints, shrub, whatever, that kind of thing. So it wasn't like, you know, hitch it up and drag it off that day or anything. And then they have, so I mean, obviously, and these are just my suggestions because I know what you're saying, Dylan. I don't want anyone who has something in good repair that they're using that, I mean, I don't want anyone to be, I mean, if my grandparents had like 5 acres, if I wanted to put a couple of those in the middle of it, I don't think it'd be bothering anybody, and as long as I painted them, I'd think that should be fine, and I'd hate for someone to come along 10 years later and be like, hey, you know, get that out of here. That's not what I'm trying to do at all. I want people that have been using them and being respectful of their neighbors and stuff with them and keeping them in good repair. That's great. I don't want any like public nuisances, just like a pool. Like you don't want something that kids can play in or something and get hurt. But yeah, that's all I want. My whole point was some structure to allow it. And I realize that there's a lot going on here and I may have been overzealous.
I don't think you're overzealous. It's just,
Being thorough.
I want to make sure we're solving a problem that's
Yeah.
actually a problem, because I
Right.
haven't, outside of the one downtown before, I haven't heard of
Yeah.
a problem.
Well, and there's the detached trailer that's been sitting at that gas station that's not a gas station anymore at 3rd and
There's
Margrave.
one over on
Yeah.
Couch, I think. And
And there's some ones that I've seen around town and they're rusting, but like for instance, the ones that are storage at, I mentioned last time, Dawn Spirits, those they seem like they're what they ought to be. They're the color of the primary structure and
Is that a residential property?
like adjacent, behind them there's residences, but I think
What about
that,
at 3rd and Margrave? Is that a
Is
residential?
that a residential
property?
property?
That,
it's adjacent, so it would count.
that's, we're debating that.
Because I'll say, I'm reading it right now, it says storage of containers typically transported by tractor, trailers in a residential district except where completely
Yes.
enclosed is,
Paperwork showing that when
we had a learning curve there. What we had is, he went to the county, and if you look up your house on the county, they have listed in their zoning,
Mm-hmm.
and they put a zoning on there.
Right.
Okay, that's what this gentleman did. He went to there, and it shows commercial. Our map shows that's residential property.
It should be what's on file with the Register of Deeds.
Well, it's commercial, but the county guys will tell you that we don't do that commercial. That commercial's just, we
Okay.
don't, that's not anything that we did. How that got there, they have, that's not their doing, they say. So, this guy bought the property thinking it's commercial. Our map never shows that it was commercial. I can't find any evidence that the planning commission or city commission ever changed it to commercial. But that's the hang up there.
Okay,
It's a mixed up.
yeah.
How about,
And,
give you a little edification, just. County doesn't do zoning. So they wouldn't know if it's commercial or hayfield, because that's not their, they don't have any.
okay,
We do zoning.
yeah.
I think
If you go to the county,
Because
if you ask them, and you rely on them telling you that it's commercial, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Because the law says you're supposed to come over here and talk to you guys.
Yeah.
And that's what a court will tell you, is that, well, you asked the wrong person, that's not, that's your fault.
Okay,
He's advised me personally that he's gonna move it. It's gonna get moved. And with the touchiness of it and.
Oh, sure.
You know, we just thought we would let it take its course. and let it
So it's
move it on
better
its
if
own.
he realizes the error of his ways voluntarily,
Correct.
yeah.
then you don't have to force the issue. I agree with you.
And again, obviously, this is just what I proposed, but what I had in the draft is for detached trailers in or near residential districts. For residential districts, detached trailers are strictly prohibited. In a district that is adjacent to residential, regardless of what that district is, be it commercial or business or whatever, detached trailers are also prohibited, but long-term placement of detached trailers is really only allowed in the certain industrial zones. So for an existing trailer to be grandfathered in, a detached trailer that is already in a residential district, when this ordinance passes, it is not permanently grandfathered in. They have 6 months to correct it. So just throwing that out there if that was the way we did it. And I'm trusting that you would tell me if that sounds ridiculous or not. Okay. So, okay. Is that Brad dying back? If that's
I
Brad,
hope
you can
not.
stay out there.
It's our ex-mayor. He's sneaking down the halls.
I'm glad he's sitting next to you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You can go home and call.
Please go.
Say, he
Good.
sounds bad.
Whoa.
He looks bad.
Yeah. It's like, well, I was gonna go get my flu shot, but maybe I'll just catch it.
I got mine.
Just get out of the way.
I got mine 3 weeks ago. I should be covered.
Yeah. So, okay. All right.
That reminds me, I need to get mine too.
Okay.
It may be too late.
So, so if I'm understanding, oh, good, I'll wait till then. Never mind. So could we, I'm just wondering, okay, so since there is a process to go forward, if we, decide that we're going to do ordinances, could we adopt what Norm and, sorry,
It'd be the same process.
yeah, to change it, but, okay, so it wouldn't make any sense to do that and then do this, that would be just take the
Has
same
your
amount of
ordinance been
time.
to the planning commission? The one that you guys had drafted?
No.
Okay,
I would like to see one of these go to them, or I don't know if we can do both and just let them talk about it.
Okay.
People can come in and
Great.
talk about it.
Okay.
Forward both of them
Yeah.
and see where they want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and I
I'll
want to be
shake it
clear,
out.
yeah, these are, what I made was just a jumping off. You guys want to change things,
Yeah.
let's do it. So, yeah.
I don't see anything terrible with what you've done. My big thing is the grandfathering in. I don't want citizens to think we're arbitrarily trying to come after
Yeah.
storage containers where they're just using them for
Yeah.
like a shed.
And we could definitely like
meaning
try
any
to
harm.
put in some really clear language that, hey, this is, this is allowable or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't want to, I don't want to discourage people from, the potential of building tiny homes or small dwellings with shipping containers or other small structures.
I mean, if we can get little businesses also, not that we need another coffee place, but I mean, like that one in Nevada, something like that, there's a lot of potential there, but we would obviously, they have to meet all of the requirements if they would do something other than storage, so, but yeah. What else would you guys, from codes need or want?
My only question would be if you want us to go before the planning commission, do you want us to go and go for a yes and a no, or do we just wanna go with? Cause if it's a no, it's just one word being added to existing verbiage. If we're gonna adopt it, it's a whole
Well-
another article.
But if we say no, does that mean they have to get rid of the ones they have? I'm so confused.
I would say they're grandfathered in. I mean, it'd be hard to go backward, legally.
Yeah.
Do we want to have Norm and Leroy start working up, the particulars for if we're going to make any exceptions for construction codes, that kind of thing, for people who are building
I think that
tiny homes?
I think that, I think we should just address the storage because the.
Oh, no, absolutely. Initially, let that go to the planning commission.
The housing is they're gonna have to go before.
Yeah.
The planning commission, no matter what.
Yeah.
On the home.
Right, yeah.
So I would say that takes care of itself through the planning commission. I don't
Okay.
think we need to do anything extra for that.
Okay, that makes
I
sense.
think that we just need to adopt an article for a yes or a no.
Now, I do have one question on here. It says, 20X6, container accessory structures permitted as an accessory use, but then it says a building permit is required. Are you saying someone wanting to use it as storage would need a building permit to put one to begin with?
I mean, where was that again? Because that would not.
20-6. At least on the
It
paper.
was not my intention for someone who wanted to use it for storage to get a building permit, unless, of course, like they were going to be putting cladding on it and making it like a cute little playhouse or something that they would, you would do for any other kind of building at your house.
But they'd require a permit, right?
Just the same as if you were building like a, something in your backyard, like any kind of outbuilding. Wouldn't you need that? Well, then
Say
never
the-
mind, we can get rid of that.
Say for like the
It's just like
roll-off
the one
sheds,
to-
you don't
yeah.
need one, right?
Okay,
The only
so that's
thing-
just my misunderstanding about what you need a building permit for. We could take that out.
I wouldn't say building permit, but if it is adopted with the setbacks and the easements and everything else for a new one, it would be good if the codes team could go out and say, show me exactly where you're gonna put this at,
You know,
rather than, because once that thing's on the ground, it's not easily moved. So
That makes
why not, don't, building permit, but must call codes for verification of placement of the unit. Because it's benefiting the citizen also, because I know I would be angry if I thought I dropped it in the right place, then I found out that I
Yeah, that
had
makes
dropped it in
sense.
the wrong place.
We would have to add verbiage to the.
Yeah.
I don't think you need it. I was just if the commission goes by this, I was wondering on that specifically.
No, that makes sense. I think I could have been clearer.
Yeah.
You're differentiating between a Connex box and a standalone shed that you can go to Home Depot and buy and drop. in your
Well,
yard.
again, though, there are guidelines for standalone sheds, which came into play on Margrave over there.
They're not even supposed to be taxable because technically you can remove them at any time. I know they do, but technically you
Yeah.
could go load it up at any time.
I
and-
built a new storage barn at my place, and the day after codes stopped in and approved it, the guy from the county there was saying, beautiful shed, writing down all the information and everything, or beautiful barn.
They used to not be taxable because technically you could come in anytime with a truck and just haul it off, and how are they taxing you on something that ain't there?
Usually you'll find out on all portable sheds, and it's whether it's a Connex box or one you go down that's sitting on the side of the street that's for sale. Usually them things come in overnight or on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
That's why most people don't. You know, but the ones that said illegal, that's when they come in here because they don't want the codes guy out there to tell them, you gotta set it over here and over here. So it comes in on the weekend, and that's where it gets set.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think it's asking too much though for them to, they can't set it without,
You can ask them to put a
Yeah.
permit on it. You can.
yeah, I think.
Yeah.
You can put that way, you know in advance where it's.
It's almost easier to
I don't like,
correct them after they've made the mistake.
Is it?
Then ask them to come do the right thing from the start.
Well, what are the odds of everybody having had read it and doing the right thing from the start? Yep.
Like I said, I stand by my.
Like I said, I would like for them to benefit from what's available to them, to say, you know, I'm gonna put this thing right here, it's 40 feet long and blah, 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 is this location meet codes? And you say, well, no, if you move it 20 feet this way or whatever and drop it there, then you're fine. Serves a lot more, less headaches if they're told up front.
Can't disagree with that at all.
okay. So, where would we be for going forward at this point? Do we want to send this stuff and the one that Codes wrote up to the planning commission, or what? Someone said that earlier.
I wouldn't be opposed to either. I'd just like the building permit part out of it.
Okay.
I'm not against a permit itself necessarily. I don't like the idea of requiring.
Contact codes for.
Yeah, I'd prefer that because I don't like the idea of saying you need a permit for this storage thing, but not this storage thing. Where
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
something that dictates that
Okay.
you've got to contact codes first
yeah,
to identify where you're gonna put it.
I think that makes
Whether
sense.
it's a permit or not, like I said, I think it saves these guys headaches and it saves everybody headaches if at least the person that wants to put that item there was told ahead of time, you know, I'm gonna put it right here. Hey, and if you have to tell them, well, I'm sure it would probably work out really well for you right here, but technically it needs to be back this much further.
yep.
Sounds good. All right, cool.
Where did we land on ones that are already there being used as storage facilities?
I believe they should be grandfathered. I'm not against paint requirements necessarily,
Yeah.
but
Um,
but then if you're grandfathering them, you get into the ones that are really actually a problem. Like
Yeah.
the one that came up about downtown, I believe it's still sitting there.
yeah.
You
So,
can't say, well, we're grandfathering someone's property and not the other.
yeah, so if we went with the way that I had it drafted, Matthew, again, this is just an idea. Everything that is present at the time that it passes would be at least temporarily allowed, like legal non-conforming, and then depending on what it is, they would have a time frame of like 12 months or 6 months to correct.
Clarify, I mean, we're talking about the ISO shipping containers, right? Not the detached tractor trailer trucks or
Right,
tractor trailers?
right,
Okay.
yeah. Those are the some exceptions, like right away. Those are never allowed anywhere.
So however you have to
Industrial.
wordsmith that, you know, for the current ordinance to say, you know,
But
grandfathered for
Good
one
man.
type of container, but not the other.
The tractor trailer's already spelled that as a no-no.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's already illegal.
Yeah, but Matthew, so it's, most are grandfathered in as long as they're meeting the standards, obviously, of being like not rusted out and not any sort of safety hazard, that kind of thing. But if they are, there's a few exceptions. I'll be glad to go over it again later if you wanted, since we're kind of getting down to the wire.
Did we want some kind of separation for the ones that are being used as commercial storage facilities on commercial properties and industrial properties as opposed to those being used on residential properties?
I think that's something that the planning commission would still have to be able to go, because I think by the time you do your public hearing and get your vote in there, that's just fine.
Is your microphone on? I don't know if he can hear you or not.
I was just saying that I think it still is something that would probably need to go to the planning commission to be able to outline exactly what would need to happen versus commercial versus in residential area.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, we're good for now?
Anything else?
Thank you for your work, Catherine.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks, guys, I appreciate it, thank you.
All right. Then we've got about 9 minutes before the regular meeting starts.